All right, imagine life with no water. Nothing in the faucet to quench your thirst, no working indoor plumbing, or even clean water to bathe in. Well, that's exactly the reality for over 150,000 residents in Jackson, Mississippi earlier this year. Now, this includes hundreds of school children who still have to leave their classrooms to use the restrooms outside. The city is grappling with crumbling pipes that are more than 100 years old, and Republican state lawmakers hold the purse strings of the federal funding that the state is expected to receive from the infrastructure bill. With no long-term solution in sight, Jackson residents continue to suffer. Joining me now is the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, Chokwe Lumumba. Mr. Mayor, I'm so happy to have you with me. This is your second time on the show talking about a water crisis in Jackson. And what I've found very disturbing about this is that the Republican governor there, Governor Tate Reeves, said that perhaps Jackson should get its citizens to pay their water bill before they start asking people for money. These are his constituents who are suffering without water. Just the disrespect. So first question to you, how are your constituents doing? What are they doing for water? And what do you need right now?
Absolutely. Well, at this point in time, our constituents do have water service. However, I do continue to remind everyone that Jackson is still in the state of crisis or a state of emergency because the systems we have are the systems we have until we can replace them. So it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And just to give your listeners a bit of context, in Jackson, Mississippi, the city did make a failed purchase many years ago of water meters that led to stranded bills. And so to the extent that residents are not paying water bills, and this is a circumstance that is being corrected, it is at no fault due to the residents. It is, in fact, that failed purchase that we are rectifying with new water meters. And so it's shifting, hiding the ball. And a failure to provide water and a failure to update this infrastructure is bordering on a human rights crisis.
It is. And listen, I do want to tell our viewers that BIF, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, will send $459 million to the state of Mississippi. However, that's for the entire state. The water crisis in Jackson alone is looking closer to $1 billion. I also want to point out that the only Republican to vote for BIF was Senator Roger Wicker. Yet these people, Republican lawmakers, will control where this money goes. I also want to point out a lawmaker, Delbert Hosemann. It seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that he wants control of the airport in Jackson and that he's kind of dangling this control out there since he controls budget in the State House as a way to offer help. If you help me, I'll help you. It sounds like a quid pro quo. Am I misreading that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not only has the allocation of resources to the cities like Jackson been inequitable, but often any suggestion of receiving resources is done so on a paternalistic basis. And we need people in our state legislature, our state leadership to understand that these are neither Democratic nor Republican issues. When you don't have water in your home, we're talking about children, we're talking about lives left in the balance. And so as we look at the success of our economy as a state, locally as a city, it should be based less on, what is the state of industry in our city and more based on what are the social sustainable development goals that we are achieving for people, whether there is sustainable and dependable infrastructure and whether that infrastructure is equitable as well.
Right. And I have to tell you, I have been to your town. I've been to Jackson, Mississippi many times. Sewage gets dumped by the billions into the local rivers. And so it's just striking to me that this, Christian conservative people who call themselves pro-lifers, the All Lives Matter crowd, who care so much for children, don't really care about little black babies having to run outside to the restroom. And it's disgusting to see how it's been handled there. So, Mr. Mayor, you have an open invitation on this show. If there's any way we can be helpful to make sure that Americans in a major city have clean drinking water, here at the Cross Connection, we'd like to do that. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope to have you back soon. Coming up next, the legendary Debbie Allen joins me live with a very important message. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.